venture to get it going. It either works right away or it's a couple of tries. Let's see. Okay, maybe. Let's see. Are we live? Maybe.
Never. This is a live event. I never really asked. I just agreed. Sounds like you want to do this. I'm like, yeah, yeah, that sounds great. I didn't ask any question. I don't.
It's like, I don't care what it
I,
is.
I, I got. We're here. So this could be a game show, and I just wouldn't be prepared for.
Maybe we should do. Maybe we should do a game show. We'll
Yeah,
start it off.
an unstructured game show. People get
Your game
the
show. What
guests
do you
don't know they're
win?
on it until they're on it.
You win random stuff around the office and in
Yeah, but
my
some of your random stuff is pretty pricey.
I got some expensive.
Nothing Pac-Man he's giving away. We all know that the Pac-Man machines and suits will not be included on the giveaways. So,
I've got a spare server or two though.
oh, okay. Well, people would like that.
I know how you're moving it because it's like, I don't know, 100 pounds and it's massive. It's a for you.
A local giveaway.
But he has a couple of like GPUs from NVIDIA. He's got a cool bunch of edge devices. Oh God.
Not giving away my head there. There's a lot of stuff here getting ready for Halloween, but
Oh man.
Show us your front yard real quick. It's very impressive. You put it in the channel.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I could do a live feed. At some point, I want to do a podcast outside, but I don't know the logistics of the loudness.
You get like one of those microphones, like a 90s country star like Garth Brooks had,
You just like really
It's right there, you know?
the,
You put a gamer headset on, there's all sorts of things.
No, all those bloggers, they have those little things they clip onto their shirts. Look at that.
they're really pricey though. They're like the Rode mics are amazing, but they are pricey.
Okay, how tall is that?
Well, this one is, well, I'm pointing and I'm not can anyone see. The taller one is 12 foot, and
Love
that's from Home Depot. The one next to it doesn't look that tall, but it's supposedly 10 foot, and that's from Lowe's. Lowe's had a sale, and all the way down here is a 4 foot long cat. And we've got two more 12 foots to put up. We might put one in the backyard just because
Okay.
the amount of space.
Well, the neighbors won't see. Why have one in the backyard? The neighbors can't see it. I mean, that's the whole point of these things, right?
The park in the back
Oh,
with a walkthrough. So
Okay. Okay. I like
scare
that.
some kids.
yeah. And this is our 8 foot spider. It glows and talks.
Oh
Well, that
gosh.
talks. I don't know what languages they speak. We're still, I mean, it's not October yet, so I haven't been given the go-to to put up everything yet. So
This
I
is
just put
what's
up a couple things.
Yeah.
I don't have the full cemetery up. I don't have the other guys. So there's a lot of work to do.
So are you going to be on the news? Are you
No.
that person?
No. Our town is massive in this, so we're in the top 10 of the houses, but not because we got some of them we have a Victorian district, and there's like a string of them about a mile long, and people have bands. Someone had a full-size pirate ship. It's expensive. Like my friends up on the main street, they get between 2,000 and 3,000 kids a night, and the police closed down the
Wow.
town in that area for a couple of hours, and it's within an hour 1,000 kids have come by.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I got 12, maybe 16 trick-or-treaters last year.
Yeah, people tell me, oh, I got 7. I'm like, yeah, I'm on the side street, and I've gone through a couple thousand pieces of candy.
That's so crazy. I'm in a condo in San Francisco, and so our hallways are carpeted, lit, and heated. So all the neighbor kids can come with no shoes, no jacket,
Nice.
and the parents don't even care because we all know each other. And then what we all do is we pour like wine and beer in the parents' cups. So by the
Nice.
time they get to the top floor, they are loaded.
That's a good sign right there. I like
It's
that.
really good.
We give out for the parents, we give out like candy shots. Like they have packaged shots that are in chocolate.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
do a fire in the front yard and we sit out there next to the stuff.
But all
Because
dressed
by
up,
us, we
right?
have weather. I don't know about the, West Coast, you have a little weather, but October by us could be, could be 40, 50 degrees, or it could be 80. I mean, who knows?
But you're in full costume, right?
Oh yeah, I got my full Ghostbusters get up on backpack, accessories. I've got some more tech items in there. This year I'm hoping to connect the Milvis database to the trap. So when I get a ghost, I could store it. So you could search
Oh, I
your
see. You
ghost for
can
later.
embed it. You can take some embedding for said ghost.
It's data, right? Everything is data if I get the right encoding model. I'm
Um,
figuring I just need 3D image vectorization and then we store it and then you could search ghosts.
Love it.
I'm
That's our
working on
next.
that. I got a month, so we'll see.
So, Ian, tell us about you.
I've been at Cloudera for 8 or 9 years now. Been on the public sector sales team. I worked with Tim both at Hortonworks at Cloudera. I'm an artificial intelligence SME, have a PhD in computer science, been in big data for a decade. So I've been around the space, and then Tim and I have collaborated multiple times. So we always have a good time when we collaborate. So.
So, what's your opinion about what's happening now in AI? Is it hype or is it like just finally time?
It's definitely more than hype. I mean, what's interesting is, I mean, I was actually preparing a presentation on what I would call traditional machine learning, deep learning type use cases, right? I was thinking, I've had that, and Tim's seen that talk track, and I've had that one for a long time. And then I went out there and literally asked ChatGPT, like, in emerging areas, what, like, categories, like what's happening. And it's kicked out 13 different areas. And then I went out and, finance, healthcare, right? Just kind of like name, transportations, service industry, right? Like, and then I just went out there and said, okay, like, let's just take what it kicked out and let's go to Google News and let's go find actual examples of like what's happening. And what I was really, I didn't think about it when I got done with it. And there was 13 of these, 2 or 3 per slide. These were all maybe 18 months, less are in the news, so like mostly 12 months old. So it's like, this paradigm change. A lot of things are happening, right? There is a lot of hype. We've all lived through AI hype cycles. I didn't live through the one in the 90s, right? Early 90s, but I'm aware of it. This is just, it's different. There's just something different about it. You know what I mean? And it's a new
Absolutely.
tool. And I think like there's a lot of the blind leading the blind and people trying things. And I think that's ultimately like where we're going to have the most success, but maybe a year or two, maybe the cake's just still in the oven and it needs another year before we really understand what it looks like.
I think it just really does depend on the sector. And I think what I'm starting to see is in sectors where there's a lot of like repetitive work or work that you can't even do at scale. I'm actually seeing tools that are actually useful. So examples that I'm seeing are in like a lot of marketing tools. So being able to like do keyword research in SEO. Nice, Tim. Being able to, generate outlines for various blog pages, being able to do personalization for marketing. In fact, one tool I
Yeah.
saw yesterday, not only did they like get the sector right, but they even got like the initiatives at like a company right. So, we just kind of use like Costco as an example, and it spit out all this content that was relevant, and it was tied to like a product that you would sell, and it was generated in just a couple of seconds, and it wasn't garbage. It was
Mhm.
actually really useful. So Yeah, I'm seeing it in certain places where I'm like, yeah, that is something that teams in the past always strive to do. They did it kind of halfway, but to be able to do it at scale, and then it's not like that, those teams will be like made redundant. They can actually then be, productive. They can actually fulfill the requests of the organization. So I was really jazzed yesterday.
That's awesome. I mean, the one of the simplest examples, one of the best one is United Airlines. So I actually had like delay flight situation, like about a month ago, and I got this text message that it was like, hey, Ian, sorry about the delay. We're working on this or that. And it had some information and gave you some pretty good timelines of like how much time things were going to take. And it was pretty accurate, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, right? And then I read about this later, and this was a generated text. Like it kind of looked at the status, looked at my name and where I was and all the things. And actually, they talked in the article, they talk about using empathy to have a text message. So you're giving someone proactively, like they're getting information, but it's done in a caring way. It's actually a really interesting use case. And it's a simple one, but for travelers, we all travel, we all know how stressful that can be. That little bit of information is like, it's really nice. It's like, okay, cool. Like, or it's like, hey, you landed here and you need to go to this gate. And it's like, automatically, you don't have to look it up, right? It's coming to you. I think that's such a cool example for just a customer service example. Simple.
That is a great example. And also, I think like all the airlines policies, like I've never read them. I always threaten to read them when I'm like, delayed. But if they can include that in those text messages, right? Like, oh, we're delayed more than 5 hours. Our policy is to, give you a free meal or what. That'll just like take it to next level, right? We're going to be like,
Sure.
loyal forever, right?
Yeah, I don't know they want to tell you that though.
Yeah, but I think, the reason we get upset with delays is because they're not setting expectations with us. We don't know. We're in this unknown, right? We're sitting there going, don't know what to do. Should I go and have a meal? Should I just wait here? Should I leave the airport? And then you're just frustrated because you don't know what's going on. I think hopefully they'll wake up and realize that giving us information is just gonna, we're just then gonna be like, cool, we know what to do next. It sucks, but it's worse to be thrown in the dark in those situations. So what are you working on at Cloudera?
I mean, currently, I'm not doing any special projects. Certainly, it's been a lot of enablement. Working on just materials to teach, really teach not just some of the engineers, but some of the salespeople what fine tuning is, what vector databases do, RAG approaches, the value to that, and just high level. I'm about to do Gartner here coming up, Symphonium, I think Symphonium. Anyways, the one that's in October in Orlando. Tim and I did it last year, I think. So just working on presentations and enablement, to be completely honest with you, I need to get back to a little bit of building something. I've just kind of gotten away from that. So
Well, Tim's got lots of toys, so he's happy to help.
He does.
Yeah, we can always collaborate, man. We're doing some stuff with Cloudera around NiFi is surprising. So I mean, always looking to collaborate. So if you have another cool idea, or I'll show you some of my weird ones if you want to work on something.
So we have a bunch of notebooks and tutorials. You're welcome to use them.
Oh, yeah.
Even in like training your salespeople. Let me just share with you some of the,
Yeah.
we just revamped everything. So that's why I'm pretty excited by this whole thing.
Then obviously you can run this in Cloudera machine learning. Super
Okay.
easy.
Okay, so we go to the docs. So the first set is if you go to the all the integrations, each of the integrations actually have, quite a bit of details about how to get set up, how to actually do, something basic. So this is like pretty useful if you, wanted to do something with like, I don't know, VLLM, which is kind of a hot thing nowadays. Or if you go to the tutorials, we actually have tutorials on, let's see, what was a cool one? This multimodal RAG
Yeah, I was looking
is
at
pretty
that one.
cool. And
Yeah.
so there's, you can just like grab the notebook
Yeah.
and actually start playing around with it.
Please
But
shoot
there's
me the link.
also,
I will
where
post.
is the actual, there's also a demo, which is useful for your salespeople. Where is that demo?
Just multimodal-demo.milvis.io.
Or I'll let you, if you have it.
I could share that one there. Yeah, I use that one at meetup just because I don't have to run something else. And I
So-
could just upload a cat picture.
So these are a couple of demos that might be useful for your sales reps if you're just trying to like, so they can actually see, right? You don't have to build anything. And
And multimodal is the big, that's the big one, that's the big trends, right? Like that's the direction things are heading right now. So interesting.
and it does a little re-ranking. So then they can like, play with
Oh,
it.
so these are images from okay, cool, fun.
Yeah, you could upload your own image, even though it's just
Yeah. Well, I like photography. So this actually, I'm actually gonna have to play with this.
Yeah.
So I'm a big photography person. So is it searching for what? I guess.
Yeah, so click on like the one that I like shows if you click on that Eiffel Tower,
Okay.
and then so it's gonna show all these pictures, and then do a search. It shows like all these pictures of Eiffel Tower, which is
Oh,
great.
interesting. Very cool. Yeah.
But then if you change it, so do like lots of people. That's what I do, because then it's gonna find pictures of the Eiffel Tower with lots of people,
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
and then you can re-rank it.
Where did you get these photos? Are these stock photos? Were these part of the?
I think it says in the notebook where they came from.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the standard locations.
Okay.
Well, they show you loading them. Like depending on which one you do, like if you're doing the one with the old reviews of stuff. But there's a lot of sources of free pictures, but yeah, I did one on ceiling cat. This one is cool. It's just change the color.
So is it explain the vectorization or the embedding process here? I understand how the vectors are stored, but how are the images being, embedded, if you will, or are those values being created from the images? The right way to say that.
So I think, it's using a multimodal, which one is it using?
Is it using? Yeah, here's the BGE visualize base EN.
Okay.
There's so many new models though.
Which-
No, I mean, dude, you
Llama
can't.
3.2
Yeah, you can't. It's
yesterday.
But these models have been trained, this, these models have been trained with both images and text, right? So that's why they're able to, if you can either search with just an image or you can search with text. It's not like it's like, it's a database where we have image with like, one sentence associated with it. They've actually been trained with these pairs. And that's why it's so powerful. Because like semantics matter, right? Like I could say something else, instead of with people, I could say with a crowd. And
Yeah,
it would
that's a
still,
fun
right.
one.
It would still be able to, even if you did like the car with a crowd, with the people, it should have still like pull up pictures that are similar, right?
Yeah, no, this is really cool. There are different sort of I can't think of some applications for this, but I think this is really interesting. Let's see that. Oh yeah, car with a car.
And they just re-rank it to get one that's, because it's just dumping everything.
Right.
And then you can see ones that hopefully are more relevant to what your intended search is. But I think what I think a lot of people, maybe when you're training people, you can let them know that RAG or semantic search is fundamentally a search activity. And with search, there's a lot behind it, right? There's you're never, if you just look at even text search, like the first results from any text search that we don't see anymore is never going to be what you're looking for, right? It's very rarely. There's a lot of fine tuning that has to happen afterwards, right? We might do like a bunch of filtering before or filtering after. We may take, we might want to re-rank it like we just saw here, because maybe the first result is just a bunch of people with a little tiny car in the back, and maybe that's not exactly what we wanted. But it's important to remind people especially when they're building RAGs, I think they get a little bit too excited about like the generation part and forgetting that getting the right results first and then sending it to the LM is super important.
Well, you're spot on, right? You're all about just maximizing what's in that context window at the time of generation, right? So I completely agree. Um, I see text and images, sound.
Yep. I don't
Do you
think
guys
that
you guys do
one
audio? So do you guys do audio bits and sound like
audio and
so?
also video. So we actually have 12
Yeah,
Labs. So
so
12
what's
Labs
the
is a video foundation model. We actually just invited them to the Unstructured Data Summit. And yeah, that one is worth taking a look at. And we actually did a little recap vlog that I can send to you. So you can, let's see. That was really impressive. And at first I was like, why would you want that? And he said, Chris, like sports. They need that
I can
right
think
away.
I
A
can
lot
think
of
of
stuff.
plenty of applications when you think about sound in manufacturing and you think about sounds that maybe don't sound like a normal operation, something's not right or vibrations are happening. So I can think of plenty of manufacturing operation type of use cases where sound detection, listening for something that breaks, right? Or listening for maybe a bird hitting a like something of that nature. There's plenty of applications for that.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, so then mechanics, we
Just
make those sounds, those funny sounds to them. My car was making the thump thump sound, right?
Actually, that's a great example.
Oh
If you're
yeah, recording
crowdsourcing the
it.
sounds from the cars, you and the manufacturers could do that. That actually is a really great example about, something in fleet and crowdsourcing informatic sound too. That's a cool example. Tim, take that to GM.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. It's not just
That's a
sound.
pretty good
Here's
one.
I was in there. Here's a couple of pictures. Here's the sound I heard. Here's the short video I took. And here's
But
my
once the car
description.
makes the sound and then it tells you, and then it schedules it tells the
It's
service,
like,
hey,
uh-oh.
like this sound is happening, like you've been scheduled, go in,
Or the card tells you, I think you have this. Can you go take a picture of this part of the car?
Yeah,
Or hold on while I scan the car with
yeah.
the
Actually, I think brakes, because you can hear when the brakes squeal. If you listen for when your brakes are kind of due.
oh
That's a
yeah,
good one
that one you can
too.
definitely pick out.
So, anyways, yeah, that's interesting. So, okay, so you got the video too.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so this is from the 12 Labs meetup. And so you can see like, you can take images, text, they're training all these things, right? In their models. And you can imagine like how you might want those various pairs, right? So in the bottom one, of course, this is the obvious one, the visual and the audio, because you want to be able to, tie those things together. But you may want the audio and the text too. That may also be like because of what you guys were just talking about, right?
Yeah, no, like I mean, yeah, the multi-model piece this is great. Yeah, yeah. Is it the same embeddings model
It's it's one
for all
embedding
of them?
model, right? It's
That's
one
pretty
embedding model,
cool.
right?
Okay.
So
That actually helps a lot. That's actually the big nice thing. Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So I would I dropped that link in there for you guys
Okay.
to take a look
Yeah,
at,
no, I'm
or
gonna
you can listen, to the talk. But yeah, it was. I think because people were always doing like little tricks in the past with trying to by getting the transcript for videos, and so initially the audience was just like not excited. But then they started like asking questions. And I could tell that they were finally understanding that this isn't a transcript that people are searching on, right? They're actually searching on images or searching, and they could start to see how powerful, this can really be. So Tim, this is your next thing.
Yeah, yeah. I
actually
mean,
you needed a microphone. You needed an excuse to get a nice microphone. That's how we started this conversation.
oh yeah, there you go. I mean, there's just so much. We're so early in this. I tell people I was at a venture capital event the other day. I'm like, we are where the web was in like 92,
Yeah,
93.
we talked about that
We're
over beers and soup or whatever. We were in Seattle, right? Or having clams or whatever, right? So, but yeah, it does having you experienced that one firsthand, right? Obviously, I only read about that coming up until 99, but it does feel early. It does feel like there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of promise too. So
But in those early days, you just felt it. Like you just knew that yes, it was like kind of terrible and wonky. And I mean, like websites back then, Ian, look
Yeah, no,
ridiculous.
I
Like,
remember Netscape Navigator in free. Yeah, no.
I was still like, do we really need a background color? What's wrong with gray?
yeah,
Can't we-
but then there were the people that use every font, every color, for every other word.
blink,
Yeah,
blink. Those blink
yeah.
people need to be. I want to go back in time and slap them and then go back.
But
Invest in Nvidia and Amazon and then come back.
but everybody knew, right? There was like there's something here, something exciting. I actually worked on an HTML editor back then, and and I would see these horrible websites that were created with this editor. I was working at Apple at the time,
Nice.
and it was like, okay, people are building these like kind of like weird web pages. And then when I saw that what was it? It was a Macromedia. They actually built a tool that was a database that was connected to the first homepage. That's when it blew my mind. Because then I was like, oh, wow, we can get rid of these static pages now. Because I
Right.
can just like make a call and be like, oh, I can serve up, something. And then boom, like e-commerce like started going bananas.
Yeah, having an inventory at that point, right? Like actual and that's yeah, no, absolutely.
So that's where I feel like we're at. Like people are building these stupid, ugly web pages.
Well, it's still very hacky. This is like when I had to build our online store, there was no software to do it. So we had to make Unix calls to a phone that dialed out to get the credit card validation, and we got it back and had to self encrypt it and then use it, use it as shell script. That's where we
Yeah.
are.
I as someone who does a lot of presentations, like getting good images, it's game changing because I don't have I just make images. Like, and I mean I make some fun images now, and it's like I mean I can show you guys a couple of
Let's see.
these.
Let's see what you do.
Yeah,
Because
no,
obviously Tim does everything with cats. Let's see what you do.
yeah, so I always have a theme kind of a hold on, let's get logged out there. I always have a kind of a theme to one of them. So what is this one? This one's gonna be first find it. This one's got a little more of an ice cream kind of theme to it, and like a robot factory theme, kind of because that's all like build your own factories, right? Like AI factory is kind of a concept, but I mean, I made these images, right? And they just seem
Oh,
simple.
wow. Those are
It's
good.
like, but it's like, this is actually how I explain foundation models and adding context, adding business context, and creating the context aware use cases, right? The context aware output, right? It's all, and it is the rag kind of piece of this, guys. So this is a fun analogy. Vanilla ice cream, your IP is mint and chocolate, and I love chocolate or mint chocolate chip ice cream, right? So, but then it's you wouldn't have a picture of a robot in a robot factory, right?
Yeah.
Then I can just then I transition to like it's an orange, it's orange factory, orange clutter colors, right? And it's about this these images are I'm telling you, like I couldn't have had some really cool images without being a graphic editor and doing them.
Right.
I do a lot of decks and a lot of presentations, so it's one of those things. I love it.
And it's not like you force a designer out of a job, because you never would have asked the designer to create a
I never
single
would have.
image, right?
Yeah,
For
I would
a
have gone to
deck.
Google and I would have been
Couldn't
sourcing
afford it.
images and
Couldn't
maybe
afford it.
doing a little mod, maybe me. I used to do a lot of memes because the memes were you could add words and add text, and so I was a meme guy, and I still love them. But now I can create a themed deck. And it's
Yeah.
in color brand, so it makes my marketing team happy. There's a lot of things that are really nice about it. So, and I would pay for that service. That's the thing. That's a service I would pay for because I've used a bunch of the free ones, and now I'm like, yeah, no, like I get enough value out of it. So, I mean, commerce being created from that, right?
Yeah. No, that's a really, really great idea. You're absolutely right. We all grabbed those stupid images, but it was never what we wanted. But we're just like, it's good enough.
Right.
Well, yeah,
Now everyone's gonna look at Ian's like deck and be like, that is rad. I want that.
I mean,
Orange
if you're
robots.
using just images off the internet, you're missing it at this point. So So
Yeah,
yeah.
Tim, if you look at all of Tim's stuff, he always does everything with cats.
Those are
Well,
his
I mean,
cats,
there's a
though.
lot of cats.
Those are his cats, though. I mean, those are never like random cats.
Well, sometimes I'll add some other things. I found a new free tool that I like from Google that I've been using, and take a look at the ones they generate.
Oh man, yeah.
Is that you?
Well, I put myself in there because I know how to copy and paste, but
I love it.
like I was at the Venture Summit, I'm like, oh, that looks better than my real pictures, There's
Oh wow, and the words are actually
and
correct
there's
because I
like,
think that's been a problem, right?
Oh
oh,
wow, yeah.
like
Yeah, the image, I mean, it's just like it's amazing, the image generation. Show them your stickers, man. The ones stickers you generated.
oh, I got so many. I don't know.
This need to be Tim's giveaway. Send him a postcard, he mails you a sticker. So
But I mean, we've been getting so many people showing up at the meetups. It's like when Spark came out and everyone wanted to know about it. That
sure.
is what's going on now.
Yeah.
Like for AI, we just did one in New York, and it's the first time I've had over 110 people show up
Oh, at a meetup.
at a meetup with
Interesting.
8 other AI meetups going on that day.
Oh, well, it's New York, but that's still really good though. That's
But
awesome.
I mean, I've never had that before. Not when
Right.
we were doing data, big data,
Man, I
streaming.
stopped doing the ML AI meetups because it was just people looking for work, or it was someone at some place wanting me to help solve their specific business problem out of thin air. And I'm like, I was like, or people looking for jobs. I'm like, I don't have either of these things for you. So
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
we get those people, but there's still like a mix. There's always like a lot of people looking for other founders or
oh yeah.
building something really interesting that, maybe they just want to like share it and see if people have other ideas to add to it. We actually started this meetup last year and we intentionally call it Unstructured Data. So we didn't call it Milva's Meetup because I just felt that it was like too self-centered. And if we're building community, we really need to make sure we involve everybody. And when I think about vector databases, or I think about traditional databases, there's it's been like 40 years of time that developers can build all kinds of tools that surround a relational database, right? Data cleansing, ETL, compliance, security, visualization, da 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 da.
right,
And
maple
those things don't
Yep.
really exist in this unstructured world, right? We don't have there's very few security tools that can deal with when you build a RAG application and it's a chatbot, are you, the user, allowed to have that output? Right? You can ask this question and it's going to be great. It's going to go into do, its thing. But are you allowed to have that answer? Right? Because maybe it's only for a certain group in a company. So there's a lot of tools that still need to get built. And yes, we wanted this meetup because we wanted to get people who are building Gen AI apps excited, but we also wanted to inspire developers to build more of the tooling and infrastructure, which is also needed. So it's then it just really opened up the lens, right? So then now we can invite all kinds of people to speak at this meetup that are a part of that whole spectrum of tools and applications that are going to get built. And once we did that, it just changed completely. So San Francisco is, we get about 500 people registering a month, and it's all in Luma and Meetup, so you can see the numbers. And then we hold it either at GitHub or SAP, and so we have a max capacity of I think 150, maybe 180 if we get lucky. And we get at capacity at all these locations. So we did San Francisco, South
Come to
Bay.
DC, where I'm located. Come to DC.
We can. I think Tim can. We can. He's gonna
I
do
can hop on a
Princeton
train
next.
then.
Oh well, I mean Tim does Princeton, so I get that.
And then we
one
can
of his
definitely go
stops.
down, go just take the train down, right? And be like,
Oh
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the
And
train is good to DC.
I'm gonna be in New York for what we're calling Evolve coming up, so we're actually doing.
I'm going to be there.
You're
At
gonna be
the
there? Okay,
partner.
good. I'll see you.
Yeah, I'm at the partner
I'll be
part.
there. Taking the train.
Yeah, we should definitely think about, why don't we pick a date? If there's a location that you can recommend. Yeah, I'm sure there are plenty of people in DC that are building some cool stuff that would love the opportunity to present to other developers.
Well, you have, I mean, of course, you have a lot of the system integrator community out here. So
Mhm.
the Accenture Deloitte, both the civilian and then also the defense side, and there's plenty of interest on both sides in the government for vector databases. I've had plenty of conversations. I can tell you there's interest. So, something we can work on for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, because we're working with Cloudera on some events, so we can mention it. I mean, we had a attempt to do one in the New York office, which is a little small for us, but there was some issues, but you know.
yeah,
Yeah, the
I
security
mean,
team didn't know. They didn't let anyone in.
The office is a little small, so we got to find a
Oh,
good.
you have a nice spot now.
Oh, it's beautiful. And then in November, I'm doing something with the Flatiron School, and they've got a pretty big venue too over at their tech school. So we're gonna do one there, see how that is.
Well, if you guys want, we can look at December. If we can find a spot, we can, do a meetup there. We had to make sure that, the talks are all, they need to be all, code, demos, no marketing, no sales, no pitches. In fact, if the
good kind of
demo
talks,
breaks,
the good kind of talks,
yes, the
right?
good kind of
Good
talk.
stuff, fun stuff.
If the
Yeah.
demo breaks, then it's even more authentic.
Oh, yes.
Because
You
it's
see
like,
when you see
oh,
people like sweating, when you see the sweat glaring up, like, oh no, something may not work here.
they're like, I just finished building it 10 minutes ago. I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah, we don't want
If
one
we
of
have
those
December,
old
we
apps
we
from
can build
yesterday.
something.
I want fresh baked apps. I want them
Exactly.
artisanal apps, you know. It works only in a customized model that you've tweaked on your machine with a specialized version of Python. Just can't run anywhere else.
Not sure why you need all that like specific custom stuff, but hey, you did it anyways.
Well, sometimes the models don't catch up. I mean, we've had some of our people have to tweak things because waiting for something to get updated somewhere in a library, or because they may not understand why, or waiting for our library to catch up. I mean, some of these things, you're writing the demo before people have announced this library came out. We have like the multimodal one is a customized, has some customized stuff there.
Why don't we just do a hackathon instead? Because we're doing a
That's
couple
a
of
great idea.
hackathons, right? Already. So we have the content. And I think that'd be fun to do in the DC area.
Oh,
Yeah, no, definitely. The only thing is, there may not be a lot of government people during the summer because they take that time off. But I
oh.
otherwise I'm down. I think it's a good. I would do it. It would be fun. So
Yeah, we can find like some time, but let's just look for a time and we just, teach people about, how to build some of these multimodal systems and then just see what they do, where they go with that.
Yeah, I mean, do you do it in DC or do you do it in Virginia somewhere?
you could do it in Crystal City. There's plenty of places there. I would look for a WeWork though. I mean, there's a few big WeWorks in both DC and in Virginia. So you could kind of do either way. And we're not talking that far apart. But I would do it near a metro station. If you're gonna do something, do it near a metro station because DC traffic's terrible.
Yeah, there's no any place where people are doing stuff. Transportation's a problem. I
Yeah.
mean, there's AI. AI has to solve that.
Well,
Get
but you solved it already. I think you should share with everybody right now your solution that you built with the vector database.
Oh, the which one?
The one that
The
shows
one
the
for
images of all the highways and
yeah,
the weather.
I've got the one for inner city streets. I've got the one for subways, for trains, planes, automobiles. But putting it all together and someone being willing to store all this infrastructure while ingesting all that data real time. I mean, that's a project the city's got to go into And it's not just our infrastructure, it's ours, it's Cloudera's, it's a good local provider of fast local internet. You know,
But
you need,
let's see it. You have, let's show Ian. So you have like
oh, he's seen that, but
you've seen it, the
which one is
images
it?
of the
I've seen the
freeways.
NiFi flow that the NiFi flow he uses to aggregate this is might be the greatest NiFi flow ever. It's pretty serious.
I've moved some of it all to Python just to make it a little
Okay.
simpler.
Yes. I have yet to use NiFi 2.0. I'm still in wait.
Knife 2.0 is great. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know. I'm ready.
processors. I mean, being able to run Python libraries. I mean,
Yeah.
once the Python libraries, you're like, oh, this is
Because
almost
you can call
easier than
models.
drag and
I
drop.
mean, wait, there's like you can call. There's all sorts of things you can do. I mean, there's just all sorts of things you can do at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a giant ecosystem.
Let's see, which one is this?
So
There's
Ian,
so
are you a
many.
big Halloween person? Are we gonna see like
I do like Halloween. Because I don't get a lot of just people coming to my house. Like I don't really decorate much for it. So, but I do give out candy. I love to carve pumpkins. I'm actually a big pumpkin.
oh,
So I
those are
carve one or two a year, and I take it kind of seriously. So
Nice.
yeah.
You got to put a Raspberry Pi in there, man.
I guess for flickering, you know what? That's a pretty fun idea. I've been using like glow sticks and then like little strobe lights. You could like, and those are pretty decent LED strobe lights, you know.
Yeah, I've got a couple of I've got a crystal skull that's got lights in it controlled by a Raspberry Pi Pico, and that works pretty good. Which one?
You just
Let me
run a
see.
Python server here or a Jupyter Notebook server, rather.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the right notebook here. I guess I should wait till I find it. Unfortunately, I have a lot of similar stuff. I'm
I
like,
know, I don't worry, man.
the air quality? No, it's not the air quality.
well
It's
in the summer, when you were complaining about traffic getting to the meetup, that's when you built it.
that's when I'm like, oh yeah. See, I'm waiting for the smog to come from the forest fires again because I've got some great air quality ones. And normally air quality is almost so consistent. The data is always the same, so it's not exactly. Yeah, I mean, you want to live in interesting times, but that's when data gets crazy. Like, where's all the data? Oh, well, nothing's changing. Like, I have the planes running, but there's not a lot of planes today. Yeah, like this one. Yeah, this one is fun. Which notebook is this one? Because I'm grabbing the weather data, the traffic cameras, and then the related lat longs there. Which notebook is this? I'm trying to find. Is this the 511? There's too many notebooks. Like I found this new model. This one's cool that converts HTML to Markdown. That one's fun.
Okay.
And then this one might be good for you, Ian. Have you
Actually
seen
pretty
Piranha?
nice. Yeah. What's it? Sorry.
This one detects personalized information
Okay, sure.
and will take it out for you if you want. So I
Yeah.
could see you plugging that into Atlas or Ranger.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
And it's fast. And again, it's on you can get it off a Hugging Face.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
ADSB, that's the plain stuff. That's not the one. What's the air quality? No, not that one. I got too many notebooks. This is like when I had too many devices. Now I got too many notebooks.
Yeah, I
Oh,
wanted
maybe
to
the
build
air
something, but then I've been like, well, I could get like a VR headset and try to play virtual golf in my living room, right? So it's kind of like,
virtual golf one.
dude, virtual golf looks like fun. VR golf, I'm not a big VR person, but VR golf looks like fun. Just go out there and Google search it. It looks like fun.
You don't have to worry about your feet getting wet.
Well, it's gonna be winter. You can play through the winter. I don't know. No, it looks
That's
although
right. I
looked
forget you
virtual.
guys are on the East Coast.
We have weather, yeah.
Winter.
Yeah, no, winter
Weather happens.
we have to like, yes. And I'm from Texas, so winter is always hard for me. So,
It's the latest one. You know, what's the thing I always like to add to mine, which is something Ian knows because he's still a member of my Slack, is I like to send the data to Slack.
oh yeah.
It's just a nice way to be able to,
Oh,
you
the
know, show
traffic
it
information or?
anything, graphics, text. I mean, and then the other thing is we can ingest the data the other way, and we can pull in stuff, and we can make a bot. I mean, that's a nice one, but you know, so many things you can do. You know. Okay, we'll stop there. There's too many stuff. The newest thing I'm doing though is I've got one for planes with augmented with details about them, so it's text and images. But that one's you know, that's just the ones overhead. You remember that in the
Yeah, the antenna. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, people love that stuff. Except for people go, oh, every plane tells you where it is. I'm like, yeah.
There are a few exceptions, but we won't talk about that.
Government might be hiding it, and there's probably a good reason. So I'm really close to the base, so they don't hide all. They hide some. Like McGuire's down here. That's a lot of my air traffic.
Hmm.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
We are getting close to time. Do we have any penetrating questions that people want to know about?
I put my LinkedIn address there in chat. I'm not sure if the viewers can see that or not, but
Oh yeah. We could share that through YouTube if it doesn't pop up.
Definitely.
very cool.
We should definitely do that.
No, this has been good. Let's talk. We're gonna see each other in a couple weeks in New York. Let's work on that. We can start planning something in Virginia. We could probably co-brand it too. It's probably something we could do on the Cloudera side with you guys.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
mean,
I've been talking to
we'll-
marketing for a while.
Yeah, we'll make sure though, it's like, it's, the unstructured data meetup is the lead, right? Because I think it's really important that we can appeal to developers and let them know this is not, you know, like a sales roadshow. You're not gonna get tortured with questions about budget. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
no,
no,
let's
we're gonna
build stuff.
build some things. We're gonna show some things. Like to me, that's
It-
perfect.
It's
Maybe drink beer
hacking and
after, you know.
Yeah, it's hacking. It's like, you know, you're gonna be happy that you can do just some little tiny thing. But
yeah,
you
it's
built
not gonna
something.
be. Yeah, do it yourself with free models. You know, open source database, open source stuff.
That can
What's
fit on your laptop.
Yeah.
how are you guys running on prem? Are you running on individual? How are you running on prem? I guess on servers, something like I don't know if we're recording. We could take that off.
No,
and-
no. So
Yeah.
we,
Like, I don't know. Like, just kind of curious.
yeah, so I mean, we're open source, we're the maintainers of open source Milvus, right? And
Right.
there's 3 flavors of it. So we have an embedded version, which you can throw into a Jupyter notebook. It's really, you know, you pip install
That's
it. We
cool.
try to get
Okay.
rid of all the dependencies as much as possible so that it's easy. But also, Tim's been throwing it on some edge devices as well.
As you know me to do.
Sure.
And then we have a standalone version that, you know, it's just in Docker. And then when you're ready for the big time, then we have a fully distributed clustered version. And this is all
Oh,
open
okay.
source. These are all
Cool.
open source. And you know, some big giant companies are using the open source projects and running, you know, projects in production. So, you know, a small company called Salesforce last week, right? They announced made big noise about, you know, their what do they call it? They call it their
I think it's
agents, their
Einstein.
Einstein
Like
agents or
Einstein.
whatever.
Yeah.
So the vector database that's running all of it is actually Milvus.
That's awesome. That's great though. I mean, you know, Tim and I know what it's like to convert unsupported open source users to paid supported users. Like we understand that process, but that's good though. It's good the technology is taking off.
Yeah, and then And then like IBM Watson is using Milvus. They actually,
Oh, interesting.
say
Okay.
that in their doc. So, so there's, open source version is, I would argue it's easily 3x faster, 3x more cost efficient than anything that's out there. And then in order to appeal to, users that want to actually pay, we actually make Zillus Cloud 10x faster than Milvus. And we actually build in a ton of optimizations that are not in Milvus. So, because we don't want to be just managed Milvus. That's like kind of boring, right?
Sure.
Because then people are like, oh, I could just do it myself. So, we're trying to make sure that we can build out that and really support, because, for example, Milvus has what, 12 or 15 different indexes that it supports, which is cool, which is great. And so that's why, a lot of these users like it, because when you get to billion scale, you can't put everything into memory because it's just too expensive. And so you want to have like a disk-based option. And so all the users, I think, it's all that flexibility and all that, there's like a bazillion, parameters that you can, tweak in Milvus. But in Zillus Cloud, we actually do all that kind of, tweaking automatically for you. So we built this really powerful query optimizer so we can actually, at query time, make that decision for you. Those capabilities are not in Milvus, right? So we want to make sure that there's some separation there. But if you use Milvus, you can aspire to build all that stuff. We're like, you could do it. We did it.
You can do it yourself if you happen to have the greatest engineers in understanding these complex libraries and distributed systems. I mean, sure.
Yeah. So actually if you go to New York, you should meet Alex, who is one of our engineers that's responsible for like a lot of this optimization. And he's a former quant guy, right? And so, that kind of trading, every little thing matters.
Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So they go down to the kernel, right? They're like, okay, if we can get that much more speed, we're going to do it.
Which day are you going in? You going for both or just
I'm be heading up Wednesday morning on the 9th. We're not
Okay.
recording, right?
Oh, we can always pull this out.
Okay, yeah, like I'll be there I'll be there Wednesday. And
tell us your address and your
yeah, just let me just put my address out there too while we're at it. I will be there Wednesday and I will be there both days for the conference. So.
Cool. Yeah, I'm attempting to be there both days. I'll definitely be there the first day because that's the partner one. So
yeah, you should introduce him to Alex. So Alex is one of the authors of FAISS, FAISS. That's the index that Meta created for vector search.
Very cool. Okay.
He's
yeah,
a
no,
good person to know.
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Obviously working more on this, seeing Tim, of course,
Of course. Wait, do you have a cat suit too? Or is it just Tim?
I do not. I'm a little more conservative. I don't wear Rage Against the Machine shirts to work purposes. But no, I do not have a cat suit.
I want either a suit with like
team, man. They can't wear that.
With the ice cream, with the mint ice cream all over
the
it.
ice cream one's pretty funny. I do like to wear bow ties. Like that's probably my quirky thing is I'll put a bow tie on. So
good mint ice cream bow tie.
I would like that would be pretty cool actually. So
and then maybe like one of those handkerchiefs like in the pocket.
Hair. Oh yeah, pockets would be really great actually. So
yeah, I'm sure. There you go. AI printed suits on demand. Design it in AI, tweak it a little bit.
So what's funny is one of my buddies had a company that would sell where they were sweatshirts and like clothing that was generated images, but they're images designed that cameras can't pick you up, like they can't detect you as a person. So they're looking for like object detection. And now there's a bunch of companies that do it. He did this
That's cool.
a while ago, but he's also a computer science. You could probably get him on Yo's talk. He's a computer science professor, an Gen AI professor at Maryland. Good buddy of mine. You guys could definitely. I mean, we can figure that out. So anyway, he's a literal expert in the space. I mean, I think all of us are. I always joke with him like we're on his coattails. We're sort of catching up. Like he's like the front edge. So
nice.
That's cool. Maybe he'd like to be at, this hackathon that we pull together.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe we could. I mean,
just to
Potentially.
give a little talk. It'd be kind of cool to like
Yeah.
front end it with like some talks.
If you did it, well, we'd have to talk to him about doing it on the Maryland campus. He could probably do more about that. I don't know. Like I can't speak for him, so I won't say that. So.
Yeah,
But I will definitely invite him. Yeah, of course, I'll invite him. So
Well, you better send us your pumpkin photos. I want to see now.
okay. I've got to get a few designs ready. You really have to start with the design and then really go find the pumpkin that fits the design. So if you get in a situation where you're just scrambling last minute and you can only have like 3 pumpkin options, you really kind of have to go and then like kind of really narrow down your options and what you can put on it. That's kind of
Wow.
I think
didn't
I've done it
realize.
enough where I'm like
I
it's
had
gone
no
well, and sometimes
idea.
it's not gone as well as it could have,
So you have a bunch of tools to be able to get all those little.
I actually bought a bunch of it's like clay cutting tools. Like when people
Yep.
like prints, you know what I mean? They cut those like linoleum tiles. Pumpkin's basically the same thing. It's a really similar consistency to clay. So those wood cutting tools and those clay cutting tools work really well. And then I don't cut all like parts of it you can cut all the way through, right? But you're really just shaving layers of the skin off and then layer down. And you can create shading doing that. And then the pumpkin will last longer because it's like less oxidation, less open stock. So it actually you can get more intricate designs and then it lasts a little bit longer and it's one of those things. You're just cutting into it like a traditional pumpkin. This way they last 2 days or 3 days and then they just collapse. So
So then
Yeah,
you
the
just draw your
scrolls-
designs on paper or you generate it on computer? Like what do you do?
computer, yeah. Just it's kind of like it's like a stencil. It's like a spray stencil, right? So it's like one color, or you with with the shading, you can kind of get 2 colors in. And then yeah, just kind of I have a bunch I've done before in the past, and it's like I might recycle one and try to do it again, kind of thing. So I don't have a printer right now, so it's kind of slowed some of these things down.
I'm sure Tim has a million.
And then you have to mail it to me. This is the other so print this for me and then mail it to me.
You gotta go to the FedEx store, the UPS store.
I have. Yeah, I know. I have before. I need to. I
Yeah,
just
that is a pain.
like I've got a lot of travel in October, so I may not get to it. So
Cool. Well, I'm gonna bounce. You guys, this was fun. Tim, you're the host, so you can do whatever you need. See you later.
Oh, I guess I gotta shut it down.
shut
Thanks.
it down. You don't it's like you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, you can keep chatting, but no one's gonna see it.
That's right. All right, buddy.